So, all you scared to death Negroes, just sit down. Don't you come out to defend our enemy. You sit down and you shut up and tell your master to come on out and deal with it.
I'm pumped. Is everyone pumped? I pray that everyone's pumped. Let us get started for what we prepared for, the students have prepared for. Woo! It's going to be hot. The points of contention, I'm going to turn this over to Sister Mecca to get these students started. Sister Mecca?
Yes, ma'am. I think this is the moment we've all been waiting for as we begin the points of contention. But first, I want to just go over what the points of contention, what it is. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that he would never remove the Muslim program given to us by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, what the Muslims want and what the Muslims believe. From the back page of the greatest newspaper, the Final Call newspaper. Many have tried to contend successfully with Minister Farrakhan on the points outlined from the Muslim program. The challenge given to our students for their third competition is to articulate and defend point number 4 that outlines the demand for separation from 2 points of contention related to our demand. A point of contention is defined as the thing that people are arguing over. The demand for separation, United College Students Defense Teams have been meeting, organizing, and working very hard on their defense. But before we introduce the teams for our third point of contention challenge, let us take a look at their commercial promo done by our editing team from the first points of contention. Sister Nicola, let's roll the commercial.
The white race does not have a good history of getting along with any race, not even themselves. When they encountered black people in Africa, they made slaves out of them and killed millions. When they encountered the Native Americans, they exploited their kindness and made slaves out of them.
If we want the system to change, we must have our own system.
The only thing that has changed is the definition. Racism is the same, it's like repetition. George Floyd is the name of the man who was lynched. Tamir Rice paid the price of being a threat in your eyes. Ahmaud Arbery was gunned down while staying in his own lane. Y'all are removing racist symbols. We're not speaking the same. We want racist systems out of the game.
The time is fast approaching when we will have to do for self for consequence.
Nowadays, we will not be fooled. We were given the guidance of God himself in the person of Master Farad Muhammad and through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Black people are 1.3 times more likely to die at the hands of police officers than their white counterparts.
The only solution is separation.
I'm sure y'all are wondering, all this talk of separation, are y'all on talk or are y'all about that action? In the Nation of Islam, we are taught that our word is bond.
There's a flame that burns strong in all of us. So if you're not with the program, move out of the way.
Praise God.
We are beyond proud of our students that have worked from point of contention 1, 2, 3, and now we're at Summit 4. We are just extremely proud of them and the hard work that they have put in and the sacrifices they have made, even with their college classes. A lot of them were going through midterms, but they showed up and they're showing out. And so we are so proud of our group of students that are participating in the Demand for Separation United College students. So first, we would like to introduce the teams to you, our brilliant teams. So let's put up our slide for our teams. All right, our first team, Team 1, is Aswad, Black in Arabic. So their acronym is Black Laborers Around the Creator's Kingdom. All right, team. So we have our team lead, Shafi Muhammad, Jackson State University. Jasmine Muhammad, Clayton State University. Ishmael Muhammad, Georgia State University. Sajda Muhammad, Chattahoochee Technical College. And Musai Muhammad, Tuskegee University. Let's welcome Team 1. Yes. Now we're going to move on to Team 2. Team 2, Al-Haq, the Sure Truth. We have team lead, Amaya Muhammad. We have Brother Abdul Qawi Muhammad, Muhammad University. We have Taqi Muhammad, Tennessee State University. We have Ishmael Abdul Shahid Muhammad, Mercer University. We have Hanif Muhammad, Jackson State University. And we have Sanalis Muhammad, Benedict College. Now we'll pass it over to Sister Anita to announce Team 3.
We are indeed proud of all our students. These students have powerful team names. Team number 3 is Crimson. Listen, Christ rising in man to strike opposition and naysayers. Our team lead, Khalid Muhammad, Hampton University. Anissa Muhammad, a May 2020 graduate of Mercer University. Elisa Muhammad, Tuskegee University. And Nigel Muhammad, Clayton State University. Now that you have been introduced to our wonderful teams, let me turn it over to Sister Nicola Muhammad, who will introduce our judges.
Thank you so much, Sister Anita. For our previous points of contention, we've used the popular vote to determine the winner to determine the winners. So now that the teams have a higher degree of confidence and skills, we want to invite 2 very special believers in the Nation of Islam to determine our winners. Let me introduce them to you. We have Sister Lolitha Muhammad. She's a licensed teacher and the owner and operator of Scholars Academy, Savannah. Thank you so much, Sister Lolitha, for being a part of our judges panel for this points of contention. Would you like to say a few words to our students?
I would. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, you all are so wonderful, and I am just so honored to be a part of this program, and I want to thank everybody who's put it together. I'm just so teary-eyed with being just so happy and proud and thankful to Allah that our young people are wanting to take on the mantle. Okay, so you all are keep doing what you're doing. We are so super, super, super proud of you all. Okay, so may Allah bless you all to do well.
Thank you so much, Sister Lolitha. I want to correct myself. We have 3 judges for this points of contention. I also want to invite, I also want to introduce Brother Student Minister Willie Muhammad of Muhammad Mosque number 46 in New Orleans, Louisiana. He is also an educator in the public school system there and has made a strong positive impact in the Black community in New Orleans. Brother Student Minister Willie, would you like to say a few words to our students, please?
I say, first of all praise is due to Allah, and give everybody the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. I'm honored for you all. I'm honored to have this opportunity. This is my first time actually participating in something like this. And it's very inspiring and it's very encouraging to see that we have students in our nation who have taken the time to develop their positions and being able to defend these points. So I'm excited. I'm ready to see it get down.
Thank you so much, Brother Student Minister Willie. And our third judge for the points of contention is Brother Terrence T.C. Muhammad from Greensboro, North Carolina. He's a community activist and organizer. He has many works. Most recently, he serves as the co-host for Student Minister Ava's blog radio, Elevated Places. Brother T.C. Terrence, thank you so much for being in our judges panel. Please say a few words to our students.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. You know, this is the part, you know, if anybody know me, I got a joke because I don't know who in the world chose me to be no judge. How in the world? I can't judge nobody. But I honestly have to say this is a wonderful experience. Myself and Sister Odetta has been working with the students and college students for years. I was formerly part of the Nation of Islam Student Association. And it's just very interesting that yesterday somebody showed me a video of me 25 years ago on a college of North Carolina A&T promoting the Million Man March. So to see that legacy still moving, see that legacy still pushing. I remember 1996, we had our student summit down in Atlanta. I remember when we had our summits or our Nation of Islam Student Association meeting at Mosque Maryam in '97. So it is beautiful, it's amazing, it's wonderful to see the students carry the banner and carry this defense of our nation. You are students and we are all students. So to see the diversity is a beautiful thing. So we will say this to you: go with Allah, He has you. There's nothing that you can do wrong because we are all in the nation learning together. So put your best foot forward because you are the righteous, you are the believer.
Thank you, Brother T.C. Terrence. And we also want to give our thoughts and prayers to Sister Donna Muhammad. She was also on the judges panel, but she had a family emergency. So we want to give our thoughts and prayers to Sister Donna Muhammad. And I want to pass the baton back to you, Sister Odetta. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to pass it right back over to you, Sister Nicola, because we need to get these students in their break rooms. Oh, they got to take a few minutes to get themselves together. And so go ahead and make that move. And we're going to do exactly what we always do for our summits during this time that they're being placed in their rooms. As they're being placed in their rooms, I want to share with those who are our guests for the first time, one of the activities that we have established for our students of the Demand for Separations United College students is respect for the 9 ministries that we've been given by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to implement in our nation. And so with that, one of the activities, or I shouldn't say activities, one of the assignments that have been given to the students, we've paired them up with believers representing a ministry of the Nation of Islam for what? An internship. So these students are doing internships with members of the Nation of Islam representing the ministries, the 9 ministries. So this is the type of work that we're going to do. But part of this summit, we always want to recognize the Ministry of Arts and Culture, because we're very spiritual beings. And you know, after a lot of talking, we need to get some spirit going on. But we're going to get that spirit going on in celebration and in commemoration of the 25th anniversary of the Million Man March, with a little bit of Ministry of Arts and Culture reflecting back on that day, October 16th, 1995. So Nicola, can we hit it?
For all for one, one for all. There's no way we'll reach our greatest height unless we heed the call. Me for you, you for me. There's no chance of world salvation lest the conversation's peace. Staring right at 2018, as if mankind's atrocities to man has no history, but just a glance at life in 2000 BC. We find traces of man's inhumanity to man. There's no history, mystery. All for one, one for all. There's no way we reach our greatest height unless we heed the call. Me for you, you for me. There's no chance of world salvation unless the conversation's peace. I love you. And God bless you.
Praise be to Allah. And we know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has expressed his love for Stevie Wonder, as many of us love Stevie Wonder just for his artistic skills. So as we continue, as the students are still preparing for our points of contention, we want to again give another clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that beautiful day on October the 16th of a clip shown on that day. Sister Dawn, can we roll the tape for that tape?
Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of these United States, and he was the man who allegedly freed us. Abraham Lincoln saw in his day what President Clinton sees in this day. He saw the great divide between black and white. Abraham Lincoln and Bill Clinton see what the Kerner Commission saw 30 years ago when they said that this nation was moving toward two Americas, one black, one white, separate and unequal. And the Kerner Commission revisited their findings 25 years later and saw that America was worse today than it was in the time of Martin Luther King Jr. There's still two Americas, one black, one white, separate and unequal. Abraham Lincoln, when he saw this great divide, he pondered a solution of separation. Abraham Lincoln said he never was in favor of our being jurors or having of this nation. Abraham Lincoln said that if there were to be a superior or inferior, he would rather the superior position be assigned to the white race.
Praise be to Allah, praise be to Allah. Not sure if that was the end of that video clip, but nonetheless, we are getting ready. What time is it? It's 6:05. Sister Nicola, I know they probably feeling like they just got into those rooms. But let's begin to bring these students back. See if they're ready. Can you send them their little signal? Yes, ma'am. So if we can get the students back into the room, and we will begin this process. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Sister Afua. Students, pay attention. Pay attention. I think you already know the rules. But we're going to let you know again from Sister Afua what the judges will be judging you on. Go ahead, Sister Afua.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Assalamu alaikum. So for our judging categories, I'm going to share my screen. So we have 3 categories that the judges will be looking at. They're going to look at the presentation of the students. How well do the students work as a team, and how well do they collaborate with one another? They're also going to be looking at the content of the presentation. Or is it fact-filled? Do they have references? Can we tell that they've done their research? And finally, they're going to be looking at credibility and how convincing the students are. Are these defenses passionate? So these are the things that the judges will be looking out for students. So do your best. And we want to thank the judges for taking on this very important task. And now Sister Odetta will get us ready by reading point number 4 from What the Muslims Want.
All right. So of course, the biggest element of our demand for separation United College students is defending point number 4. So in order for us to be able to go into it, the students know that they must be able to understand what point number 4 is actually requesting. And I'm trying to adjust my screen here. Brother Terrence, do you have point number 4 in front of you, brother? I know you did.
We want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slaves to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to provide such land, that the area must be fertile and minerally rich. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce and supply our own needs. Since we cannot get along with them in peace and equality, after giving them 400 years of our sweat and blood and receiving in return some of the worst treatment human beings have ever experienced, we believe our contribution to this land and the suffering forced upon us by white America justifies our demand for complete separation in state or territory, in a state or territory of our own.
Praise God. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sister Mecca. Are the students ready, Sister Mecca? Your team ready?
Students, are you ready? Are you ready? I know you are. I know you all are pumped up, and I know that you all are ready. So we're going to begin with the point of contention number 1. And the order that we're going to go in is team 1 will go first, team 2, and then team 3. So I'm going to read the point of contention number 1 that the students were given. From what the Muslims believe, you say that this is the time in history for the time of separation of the so-called Negroes and so-called white America. Are you excluding all white people, including good white Christians and Jews? And do you really believe that Black people could set up an independent economic system without the help of others? All right, we will begin with team number 1. Aswad, you may begin.
Well, welcome to Uncle Tom Radio. It's Uncle Tom, y'all, and I'm confused. Y'all say y'all in separation, but most white people, they've been good to us. I just don't understand. We need them good white Christians, them good white Jews. Why everybody?
Uncle Tom, let's put it like this. We don't care that whites are good Christians or good Jews. The fact of the matter is they have not been good people to any of the darker people of the earth, and that is why we want to separate from them. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in Separation and Death that we have been in America for 462 years, and we have suffered every day for 462 years. The good old white Jews you mentioned had a big hand in the slave trade and made profits off of our forced labor, according to the secret relationships between Blacks and Jews. Also, how come whenever the truth is mentioned about how much control the Jews have in politics in Hollywood over the Black leaders, etc., they purposely use the term anti-Semitic in order to shut people up? That's a problem. And here's another problem. They are a part of the ADL, who is meeting with the U.S. law enforcement to teach and train their officers on certain tactics. Hence, the knee tactic on George Floyd. The list goes on and on. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was right on time when he stated in Message to the Black Man, we need land wherein we can build our own society, free from tension, hatred, and violence that have accompanied our race relationship with the white race of America. If the good white Jews and Christians are true and sincere in their friendship, then they would support us in separating from them physically and mentally. We must separate because that is the best and only answer for us, unless we want to continue to suffer and die by their hands.
Well, brother Uncle Tom, you said excluding those good white Christians and Jews. I'm not excluding anyone. Zoning laws have been inflicted on Black people since this country's inception. In 1910, Baltimore adopted the first zoning laws that were openly drawn to keep Blacks and whites separated by law, and many other cities soon followed. I didn't separate myself. The good white Christians, as you say, such as the Baltimore mayor and Alabama governors, insisted on this separation. With economic control, standards were set that kept Blacks out of certain areas. Today, this racist practice continues with red zones. Imagine if a female is in an abusive relationship with a man. Wouldn't a good white Christian or Jew want the woman who's being abused to separate from that abusive relationship? Or stay in it because, as you say, separation is teaching hate? The people of Moses were being abused by Pharaoh. In the King James Version of the Bible, Revelation chapter 18, verse 4, it says, "Come out of her, my people." Now, is Moses wrong for leading his people to freedom from Pharaoh's grip? Lastly, if George Floyd, Tamir Rice, Ahmaud Arbery, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, and Trayvon Martin, and others were in their own land with the security of the FOI, perhaps they would still be alive. Separation means we should discuss the economic gains made in Rosewood, Tulsa, Black Wall Street. You ask if Blacks could set up an independent system? Just look at the 19 families who bought nearly 97 acres of land in Wilkinson County, Georgia, to create a city safe for Black people just 2 months ago.
And man, what? Did you really ask that question? Is the sky blue? Is Jesus black? Is Gucci a waste of money? Of course we can create our own economy. On this show, Doing the Math, Dr. Wilson talks about the lifespan of $1 in the Asian and Jewish communities in comparison to our community. He says that the Asian dollar stays in the community for 28 days. The Jewish dollar stays in the community for 19 days. However, the Black dollar stays in the community for only 6 hours. We should learn something from this. We too must think of ourselves and increase our dollar's lifespan within our community so that we can build up our own economy. And Brother Tom, you ever notice how Asian, Middle Eastern, and Caucasian people always seem to flourish in the worst places in America? That's just a portion of the power of the Black man and woman being wasted on outsiders. If the wealth of Asians, Middle Eastern, and Caucasians can be built off the backs of ignorant Black people, just imagine what educated Black people can create for themselves. Like One Punch Man, if we use of our economic power in our own people, there's no chance for failure.
I am so excited. That was so wonderful. Oh, praise be to Allah. We're gonna keep it rolling, Sister Mecca. Sister Mecca, don't get me,
Yes,
don't get me Pentecostal up in here.
Awesome job, Team 1. Y'all got us pumped up. Now we are waiting and excited to hear from team number 2, Al-Haq.
So you had asked, do we believe that Black people can set up their own system? Yes, I know we can do it. Most High Elijah Muhammad said in message.
Yes, I know we can do it. The Most High Elijah Muhammad said in message to the Black man that our economic position remains at the bottom of the ladder because of this ineffective leadership and because so many of our people ignore the basic rules of a healthy environment. The Most High Elijah Muhammad gave us an economic blueprint. We just have to apply it. Mr. Farrakhan said, what if our future could change with just nickels and dimes? Everyone can give 35 cents a week as an investment in their future. It would be painless. Now, if we just multiply 35 cents a day times 16 million Black people, that would be $291 million a year. Muhammad's economic blueprint will allow us to help ourselves in the battle to create jobs and end poverty and want, and to do something for ourselves. So the question is not whether we have the resources, it's what we are doing with our resources. Mr. Farrakhan once said, you have more power than you realize. So if we wake up and walk together in unity, stop the beefing, stop the enmity, the envy, the jealousy, and the foolishness that we're involved in, then we can do it.
So yes, we do believe that Black people can set up an independent economic system without the help of others. Let's take a look at history. How many of us remember Black Wall Street? According to author and historian Hannibal Johnson, Black Wall Street was an economy born of necessity, and it would not have existed had it not been for Jim Crow segregation and the inability of Black people to participate in the larger white-dominated economy. Now, due to there being no economic support or help from others post-slavery, Black people had to depend on themselves and became economically independent within different communities and cities. Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma is just one example of the power and importance of Black economic self-determination. Another example is the Haiti community in Durham, North Carolina. During the 1880s, the founders of this growing Black community created the North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Corporation, which became the richest Black-owned company during that time and still has assets today over $200 million. This community was also the first Black community to become fully self-sufficient. It built Lincoln Hospital, which was staffed by Black doctors and nurses. It also built a theater, a library, hotels, and had over 200 businesses. Another example is the Jackson Ward community in Richmond, Virginia. In 1910, the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank opened in Jackson Ward. Its owner was Maggie L. Walker, who was the first Black woman to charter a bank in the United States. These examples above provide the proof that Black people can and have before constructed an independent economic system without the help of others.
So separation is what's on your mind, and I can understand it might be the time, but one thing that just don't seem right, you want to separate from even good whites?
Let me paraphrase this quote from Muhammad Ali. Hopefully you get inspired by his potency. The reflection of the Caucasian is reptilian. 10,000 snakes in my face and the intention of villainy. Some of their bites are benign while the mass is malignant. I won't befriend a snake at all. Elijah brought me wisdom. So I can't worry about the few who proclaim they love us if they won't form a shield around us from their murderous brothers.
Yo, I'm feeling you. That's something that they wouldn't do.
You can tell a real Jew from an imposter Jew. One follows Torah, the other follows Talmud. A good white Christian in America is far and few between. Take your land, spread disease.
Yo, manifest destiny?
Poison water, that's designed
to genocide strategically?
Flint. Offer me a flu shot.
Supply my son with ADD.
Planned Parenthood, 82% within the Black community.
So good white Christian or Jew?
None has been a friend to me. The messenger said good white America can prove her professed friendship by dividing up the land with her former slaves. And we've waited 400 years for the good whites to take over America. We out.
Good job, team number 2. Oh my goodness, and the competition is heating up. So now we're gonna move on to team number 3, Crimson.
Have you or a loved one been affected by integration?
Are you tired of not having your own economic system?
Tired of not having Black excellence?
If you're tired like we are, dial this number.
1-800-SEPARATE.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said on page 37 of Message to the Black Man that every race of people wants unity with their own kind first, except my people, the so-called Negro in America. Our condition and lack of love for ourselves must be attributed to the slave master. He has been our teacher until the coming of Almighty God Allah. The slave master has robbed my people of their God, religion, name, language, and culture. So yes, we are excluding your so-called good white Christians and Jews. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad also said in the back of the final call that we believe that our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce and supply our own needs. And as far as including good white Christians and Jews, well, that depends on what yardstick you're measuring their level of good on. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, 25 years ago, during the Minuteman March, said that the real evil in America is not white flesh or black flesh. The real evil in America is the idea that undergirds the setup of the Western world. And that idea is called white supremacy. So therefore, we are not separating from a skin color. We are separating from a system of white supremacy that has oppressed my black people for 400 plus years.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. asked Multan Elijah Muhammad a very important question in 1966. He said, do you believe that all whites are devils? Multan Elijah Muhammad responded by referring to them as snakes. He said one is harmless and the other one is filled with poison. He said, but remember, brother, both of them are still snakes. Also note that Thomas Jefferson said that blacks and whites cannot live together in the same land. What is a Jew? A Jew is a worshiper of one God. And what is a Christian? A Christian is a follower of Christ. So you are Jewish and Christian brothers and sisters in faith and not anything else. Why not use what God has taught you to benefit your people? I'll leave you with this. In science, we have what is known as sepsis or contamination. So you being among us will contaminate or infect our people among our progress. It's time for us to take some of this 196,940,000 square miles of land for ourselves, the Aboriginal races of the earth.
In his 2013 lecture series, The Timing What Must Be Done, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that the transgenic seed and the natural seed cannot coexist in peace because this transgenic seed will contaminate and overcome the natural seed. So yes, we are excluding all white people because it is impossible for black and white to coexist in peace. As a people who will have our own economic system, we will still do trading with good Christians and Jews who are genuinely striving to be crystallized into oneness with Christ and to be the friends of God. We as black people have proven that we can self-govern and maintain our own economic system. As coming out of slavery, we set up at least 60 black towns. The only reason we haven't been able to thrive economically is because we've joined a game of monopoly with $0 and all of the property is bought up. Give us our $1,500 of monopoly money and see how well we do.
Question of our ability to set up an independent economic system? Easy. We hold 1.3 trillion in spending power, and we have a divine economic blueprint that guarantees our success. All that's left is our unity, and the only thing standing in the way of that is our enemy. They have destroyed and will continue to destroy anything good that comes from our people. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, Seneca Village, New York, Osage Avenue, and West Philadelphia. All of these were areas in the white man's land where the black man was doing for self, and all of them were destroyed. We cannot have a successful economic system while coexisting with them. And look at that, we already have our first brother wanting to know more about separation. Assalamu alaikum.
Judges, y'all have a lot to contend with today. OMG, praise God. Sister Becca, go ahead, keep it moving. I think you got to turn the baton over now.
Yes, yes. Great job, Team 1, Team 2, and Team 3. Now we're going to turn it over to Sister Anita, who's going to bring us into point of contention number 2.
Teams, are you ready? Listen carefully as I read point of contention number 2. How dare you talk about separation as a college student, knowing how much we as a people have gained academically from white colleges and universities that have produced great engineers, chemists, doctors, teachers, lawyers. You say, since we cannot get along with them in peace and equality, but you are not hindered from the equality of a good education. Furthermore, I think historically Black colleges are a sign of weakness of not being able to accept diversity. Now, teams, you have heard the point of contention number 2. Don't forget, you have 4 minutes to represent or present your argument. Please wait until I say begin. Now, the order of the teams have been rearranged to spice up the competition, so listen carefully. Team 3, Crimson, you are first. You may begin.
Why do Black kids get to have their own colleges? If you won't allow white people to keep their fine colleges to themselves, you Blacks don't deserve to have a college. Maybe you should be grateful that you have the opportunity to receive such an amazing education from these prestigious PWIs.
Man, what is wrong with this sister, y'all? Hey, Sister Anissa, do you mind sharing some light on this, sister, real quick?
The majority of Black people who attend predominantly white institutions use their education to benefit white society. So gaining academically doesn't mean anything if we're not using the academics to advance our people. According to data from the Center for Economic and Policy Research, 12.4% of Black college graduates between the ages of 22 and 27 were unemployed, while for all graduates, the rate was just 5.6%. This means Black college graduates are more than twice as likely to be unemployed. In a lecture titled The Purpose of Knowledge, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, "They have allowed us to attend all of their fine academic institutions, but there is something missing. With all that we have learned, we cannot quite put it together to do something for our people." He said the reason for that is because we have been deprived of the lack of knowledge.
The minister coined this phrase, and my dad often tells me this all the time. He who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes the circumference of your activity. We know that the white man never taught us 3 things: the science of warfare, the science of business, and the science of mating. Using science to create and manipulate the RNA and DNA of a virus to use in the form of a vaccine to give to unsuspecting Black people is not equal educational opportunities. Creating businesses to scam and rob the Aboriginal people is not equal opportunities. How can you say we have equal opportunities when you structure the educational system, not just for your benefit, but for the benefit of keeping us at the bottom? According to booking articles, there are policies in place that leave minority students with low quality books, materials, laboratories, computers, and also less qualified and inexperienced teachers. But yet we have equal education opportunities. Black children can recite to you all the white presidents, great engineers, chemists, doctors, teachers, lawyers, but stumble when you call upon them to mention their own people's profession. This system was not structured for us. It was structured for whites and whites only.
Why would we want to have diversity in an HBCU when they were created to be separate anyway? Living in America, there's already diversity almost everywhere you go. But when you go to an HBCU, that's where Black college students get a chance to be around the people that look like them. Now, being in HBCUs, we have produced 40% of the Black members of Congress, 40% all Black engineers, and 80% of lawyers, which have all graduated from HBCUs. According to a poll at Gallup Purdue University, 55% of HBCU graduates strongly agreed that their school prepared them well for life outside of college, compared to 30% of non-HBCU Black graduates who said the same for their predominantly white institution. Now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan stated in a lecture called The Plot to Destroy Black Colleges that if it were not for the Black colleges and universities, that most of us would not even have what we have today. So even though the intention was to set up something for Black people, it was still made to be an inferior education so that whites would always be the master and you would always be the servitude-free slave.
We all know that African Americans by law were not allowed to enroll in PWIs, predominantly white institutions. The first PWI was founded in 1663. However, the first person to graduate from any PWI wasn't until 1823. Do you not see we weren't gaining anything through your institutions? Therefore, we had to create our own. They were created not out of weakness, but as a stance against the oppression we face. Sound familiar? Just like the history of your so-called New World. We are proud of our historically Black colleges, and we will continue to be proud of them for years to come.
Excellent job, Crimson. Excellent job. Okay, Team 1, Aswad, are you ready? You may begin.
Welcome to Uncle Tom
ready. Part 2, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I really don't think that you Muslims know what you're talking about with this separation. Now, in my educated opinion that I got from a PWI, I really don't think an HBCU can produce anything of value. And y'all need to be grateful to Massa for allowing us to be in these PWIs in the first place. Now, speak on that.
No, Brother Tom, how dare you talk as if Black architects and engineers did not build this country? This country is built off of the blood and sweat of Black people. In fact, James Weldon Johnson mentioned that all the most interesting things done by his observation was done by colored men, meaning that Blacks handle all of the trade and commerce. It wasn't until a white Jewish male by the name of Samuel Gompers started the American Federation of Laborers, which stopped Black people from laboring by having immigrant white Europeans take over. And as far as the white institutions go, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan states that white supremacy is in white education. This is true because Black students are not taught about themselves in white schools, which keeps them looking down to themselves and up to white people. But in being a student in the Nation of Islam, if we are studying the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we know the knowledge of ourselves and who we are as Black people and go into these institutions.
Again, Brother Tom, weakness, not being able to accept diversity. White people were the ones that excluded us from the colleges in the first place. Therefore, we have to do what we do best and do it ourselves. Creating our own schools, we create a safe place for our people to learn without worry of being discriminated against. And you mentioned great engineers, chemists, doctors, teachers, and lawyers. And yet, your white leaders took God out of the school system, who's the ultimate master of every profession you mentioned. My brother, that knowledge was ever present before it was presented by the white man with his devilishment mixed within. They may claim to be the forefront of knowledge, but they are simply rediscovering and documenting past discoveries. And if anything, as college students, we're doing what any educated person would do, and that is fighting for the best future for our people. That is separation. And to my knowledge, we didn't sign a contract that says we're obligated to give back to America. We are just like immigrants that come to this country to earn a degree in American schools in order to take their expertise back to their home country to better serve their people.
You don't go to your schools for equality. Is equality having lifelong debt, just like a white man? Or is equality having a minimum wage job at a restaurant or a supermarket after training years in a specialized study? Your statisticians at Strata Institute say that 40% of college students don't even use their knowledge in their jobs. We get our true education from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he instructed us to be like Nkrumah of Ghana, and Dr. Hastings Banda of Naziland, and Nnamdi Azikiwe of Nigeria, using our education to build our communities.
Well, brother, Uncle Tom, you said, how dare you talk about separation as a college student, knowing how much we as a people have gained academically, as though you attribute my academic gain to white people. In reality, under the United States system of education, Black males are disproportionately placed in special education. And by third grade, many students in my culture group have cascaded into a pipeline from school straight to prison. We say, since we cannot get along with them in peace and equality, but Black children are in and out of the school system at a much higher rate. Teachers don't have the same expectations for us. We are not targeted successfully to take advanced placement courses. This is why Carter Woodson wrote a book called The Miseducation of the Negro. Furthermore, HBCUs have produced the largest giants imaginable, like Spike Lee Morehouse, Oprah Winfrey Tennessee State, Samuel Jackson Morehouse, Taraji B. Henson Howard, Phyllis Rashad, Debbie Allen, Yolanda Adams. Shall I name more? Are you insinuating these fine artists disgrace America by attending the schools of their choice? Do I dare talk about separation as a college student? I dare follow the path of greatness of our people who went to HBCUs, like Dr. Martin Luther King Morehouse and Alice Walker, the Pulitzer Prize-winning author of The Color Purple. How dare I, how dare you insult those who came before us and paved the way? They're not so weak, as you say.
Wow, that was awesome. I was just mesmerized in the actual facts. Praise be to Allah. Another excellent job. Team 2, it's now your time. Al-Haq, begin.
Okay, so hold up. How are historically black colleges a sign of weakness when it was created to serve the educational needs of Black people? In fact, it was created because many of the doors
Hold
were
up,
closed.
I haven't started it yet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, y'all.
I said ready, bro.
We ready. Huh?
She ready for it. Yeah,
Okay.
let's eat.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, brother honey. Okay, hold up. How historically Black college is a sign of weakness when it was created to serve the educational needs of Black people? As a matter of fact, it was created because many of the school doors were closed to Blacks at that time. The other school doors may be open now, but their educational system is not designed for Black children. This is why the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, We want all Black children educated, taught, and trained by their own teachers. And you say that Black colleges are a sign of not being able to accept diversity, but this is a misconception. We allow other races to come to our schools because we want to give them the proper knowledge. So let's look at statistics. Non-Black students make up about 24% of enrollment at historically Black colleges. That was in 2016. Some four-year colleges such as Lincoln University of Missouri and West Virginia State University have a majority enrollment of white students. And additionally, St. Philip's College, a two-year historically Black college, has a majority enrollment of Latino students and is recognized as Hispanic serving institution. So if we did not want diversity, we wouldn't allow you in our schools at all. So what exactly are you talking about?
Whites provided us with a quality education? That's as crazy as saying they stole us to teach us civilization. Have you forgotten once they sailed us across those treacherous waves, that they robbed us of our language, God, culture, and ways? Made us think that Black history began as slaves? We built pyramids while they were still sleeping in caves? Egypt is the capital of higher learning. Y'all tried to credit that to Greece, but they didn't learn it. If you look inside philosophy, you'll find the truth. You can see it comes from Kemet if you study the root. Okay, Zelo and Sophia make up the word philosophy. Philosophy is a word that they heard when they studied Kemet. Stoller tried to make it theirs because our knowledge has no limit. The first Greek philosopher that they give credit to said he learned it in Egypt. He gave credit where it's due. He said he wouldn't have education without these white folks. And I couldn't help but laugh because that's a joke. You say we wouldn't have education without the white folks? And I couldn't help but laugh. That's a joke. The first known architect, philosopher, physician, by the name of Imhotep, a famous Egyptian. The first builder of pyramids they got record of, and they ain't do nothing yet on that rank or above. All the math and science that you credit them for, it wouldn't even come close when you add up the score. People claim Pythagoras was a wise math whiz, so Pythagorean theorem really didn't even have it. You can trace geometry back to African days. Man, if you only knew the truth, I swear that you'd be amazed. It's written on the walls, hieroglyphics and stuff. Even modern medicine is all news to us. We talking forceps, thick scalpels, sponge, and scissors. Even the RX sign of your prescription symbol. Heck, even C-sections, we invented that stuff. We've been doing it since BC. Y'all are just catching up. We can't look to no devil that we far surpassed. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the last. Okay, Socrates, the great philosopher, stated that if you were to write a book of 1,000 pages, you could not write down the names of any Greek who visited the Nile in ancient Egypt to be educated. Even those who didn't go claimed that they went because it was so prestigious. So you can't look up no devils that we far surpassed. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the last. Oh, boy.
You say we are not hindered from a good quality education, but what actually constitutes a good quality education for the Black man and woman? An education that consists of the knowledge of self is a good quality education. However, your institutions do not teach that. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in chapter 27 of Message to the Black Man states, "Today with all of our white civilized schooling, we have not been taught our own. They will never teach us our own." So you may ask yourself, why won't they teach us our own? Because as long as we are integrated into this educational society under his tutelage, the white man has the power to control our thinking and educate us in a manner that is conducive to his maintenance of power, keeping us still at the bottom. While you may be a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, you're actually a miseducated doctor, lawyer, and engineer who has not been taught the knowledge of himself. According to Carter G. Woodson's thesis in his book, The Miseducation of the Negro, the black people are being culturally indoctrinated rather than taught in American schools.
Oh boy, absolutely excellent. Sister Lolita, Brother Willie, and Brother Terrence, you're gonna have a very difficult job.
Very difficult job. Praise be.
It is outstanding.
All right. Well, let's give the students a round of applause. I say the judges, you all do have a very difficult task at hand. And at this time, we're going to actually, students, move the judges into a break room so that they can decide who will be the winner. Praise be to Allah. So, Sister Tola, as you're moving the students, the judges into the break room, we want to bump it up because this song is very appropriate. This is one of the songs from the Million Man March that was created by some brothers. And in the energy that you all produced,
Excuse me, Sister Odetta. The judges, please hit join on your console.
And Sister Afua is going to join you also in that break room just to assist with that process. And for all of us who are waiting for the judges, I love the energy. I was trying to keep up because you all are of that generation that is just fast, quick, moving right down to the modern time. Let's get some music to pump them up until those judges come. Sister Nicola, bring on the music celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Million Man March.
Yo, DA, I keep hearing all this talk about we supposed to be marching in Washington, D.C. on October the 16th. But why are we marching?
It's time to start building. Marching on Washington in October is 1,000,000 black men standing up for his women, his children. October 16th is the appointment, and we call this the Day of Atonement.
And what is the meaning of atonement, G?
Means to atone for wrong or any injury that you committed or was done unto you by another. Time to atone, cause we are flesh and bone of each other. This is a day of prayer and reconciliation. We have to build this nation. Where's our reparations? We ain't totally dependent on this government's help. We can pool our resources, we can do for self. Black women always stood when we wasn't strong. But this time we asking, sister, please stay home. And let the black man show he love you and his children. And let him march on Washington as one in a million.
Let it go. Let it keep going. We still got a few more minutes. Let's get them pumped. Come on. Come on, college students. Let's rock. Let me talk. There we go. Let's rock. Lisa, let's go.
Been justified, and this revolution here will be televised.
Khalid. Hey, hey, hey.
All black women who womb you cut to kill a young. All of our ancestors that fought in your wars and died. All of our leaders you killed just to stop our rise. Open the files. Now we demand the truth. We ain't asking you for nothing. We demanding you. We sick and tired of you treating us unfairly. Now we 1,000,000 black men in solidarity. Standing down for our women, boys and girls. It'll be a shot that'll be heard all over the world. And everyone will say the black man is up and living. And I'll be damned if I miss it. I'm one in a million.
Thank you, Sister Nicola. Praise be to Allah. And that is the Ministry of Arts and Culture. We express ourselves in music that reflects the time. And so for those of you who are into the art of arts and culture, let it be a reflection of the demand for separation and the criterion, because on tomorrow, guests, we will be hearing the theme, A Glimpse of Heaven, from NOI.org, and we invite each and every one of you to join us as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of that Million Man March. I don't know about you all, but that spirit is phenomenal. Isn't that a beautiful spirit? Yes. So as Brother Sylvester spoke about the significance of this time, that 400 years, it is no coincidence, students, that you are living in the time that has been dictated by God, and your role in this is to stand up, be strong, and represent truth as you have done today with those points of contention. So give yourselves a hand, walk away from this feeling like you are representing your nation. Praise be to Allah. Are they ready, Sister Nicola? Can you ask the judges how they're doing in that room so that they can make that move, so we can make that next transition? How the students feeling? Sister Alyssa, how you feeling? Pump, 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 pump. Yes, 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 yes. Praise God. Praise the living God. All right, you all. We've had a lot of challenges this tech, starting just with the infiltrator. We call them moles. You know, there was a mole that started this whole challenge that we've had today. But guess what? We are the overcomers. So praise be to Allah. Thank all of you. I'm going to ask Brother Sylvester, as we wait for the judges to come in, if he has any comments that he'd like to make, as he's watched us and been with us from the beginning. Thank you, Brother Sylvester, for being with us. Where's Brother Keon? I haven't seen him. Is he here with us? Praise be to Allah.
I just want to thank all the preparers. I mean, the teachers and the students. I mean, the future's looking bright. I think I can go and find my rocking chair there and go and have a seat. Watch the next generation do what they got to do. Good job, you all. I got 2 more coming behind, so get ready.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So they watching. Thank you all.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
they
ma'am.
need 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Any of the students want to say something? Sister Mecca, Sister Anita, you want to say something to the teams?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to say something.
Yes,
I'm proud
ma'am.
of everybody. Oh my God. Everybody came and brought through. Everybody had my stomach turning when I was hearing everybody. Everybody did a beautiful job. And I just feel so sorry for the judges. Because it's going to be hard. But yes,
Absolutely.
everybody, you did a beautiful job. I want to congratulate Team 2 and Team 3. Oh my God. Y'all did it. Y'all did it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Sister Mecca?
Yes, I just want to say to the teams that I'm beyond proud of how you all work together. You worked between classes, work, anything that you had to do to make this event happen, you did it. And for that, I'm so proud. And as Brother Sylvester mentioned about our future, you all are now creating a shift in the separation, because now you have a purpose and a meaning for going to college. It's not just to go out and look for a job. You all are creating relationships with one another. So if this person is a chemical engineer, this person is a chemical engineer, how can we work together? So when we leave this institution, we are already becoming producers. So you all, the bond that you all are creating so that we can actually see how separation looks after you come out of college is phenomenal. And for that, I cannot thank Allah enough for you and the sacrifices that each of you have made. I pray Allah will continue to bless you all as you all are approaching finals coming up. I thank you all for the sacrifice that you are making, being in COVID at home and doing school, and you can't do your regular activities at school, but you took the time out to be a part of this. So for that, I'm so grateful and thankful, and I just pray Allah bless each of you immensely in all that you desire to do as you complete your college education.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. I think it's time. I know it's time. If it's not time, they got to come on up in here, because I know it was difficult, absolutely difficult, but all praises due to Allah, students. You all did such a fabulous job that it wasn't as simple as just saying, yeah, one outstanding team showed out. So praise be to Allah. Give yourselves a wonderful, wonderful round of applause. Sister Nicola, are they ready to get back in here? I know it's difficult. Praise God, it's difficult. Sister Anita, you want to say anything as they're coming back in?
I want to really express the creativity. You just with it going from Summit 1 to now Summit 4, the growth. And as I said in some of the times that we got an opportunity to talk with the young people, you are the prototype. You are the beginning of something that is phenomenal. And we pray, and I'm in great faith that this kind of a forum, it will meet other cities and other states. And you will actually sit back and say, wow, I remember when we started this. So praises be to Allah. Keep up the great work. Sister Mecca has said just about everything. She took everything away from me. She covered everything. So I say ditto, ditto, ditto to what she has said. But I am very proud of you. A lot of you I've just really met for the first time. And I just keep coming back to our group and saying what a phenomenal group of students that you are. And I commend you. Keep up the good work. Keep up the excellent work.
Absolutely. And as we prepare for all of the other activities that we have for the Demand for Separation United College students, we know that this is not it. So for those who are viewing, the students are looking at embarking on some financial and economic realities for themselves with what we are calling the Lion's Den. So we're really excited. Don't think we've forgotten. The Lion's Den is coming around that corner, and that is to, in fact, build the economic reality for you all as you sit on these campuses and take control. So praise be to Allah. Your internships, we want you to get on top of those internships so that you can see what the manifestation of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has given to us, as you all have demonstrated in your videos, can be made real. We can make this real. So it is in your hearts, it is in your mind, and now we got to transfer what's on the mind and the vision into the reality of God on earth. Praise be to Allah. And some astronauts, we can put it out in the moon too. Praise be to Allah. I think Sister Afua has returned. Am I seeing Sister Afua and the judges?
Yes.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Sister Afua? Sister Afua, where are you?
She's left and she's coming back. I think when she left the break room, it left her completely instead of us transferring back in. So she's going to sign back in.
All right, well, without hearing the announcement, I just want to know what took y'all so long.
Oh, there's so much to discuss. These judges have a very hard job, but they have come to a decision for both point of contention 1 and point of contention 2. So if we could please have Brother Terrence for point of contention 1.
All right, drum roll, drum roll. We got to do a drum roll. These students are anxious, Brother Terrence, anxious, okay? Praise be to Allah. Go ahead, Brother Terrence.
So, assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We want to first just say that all of you all did an excellent job. Excellent job. And we commend all of you for everything that you all did. It was amazing. It was very creative. We had a very difficult time because there wasn't enough categories to really give you all of what you all did. We just say this. No one scored a perfect because we're all students and we're all striving to do better. And the thing that I mentioned and that we discussed, we have some that are school teachers, elementary and different school teachers. So some folks always say, I want a winner. Everybody got to get something. So we all say, everybody's a winner. But we know we did tally up the scores and we did have winners for each session. And we would also say this, there's always room for improvement. And I was very critical because I want you to be the best. I want you all to represent. This is a time where you're college students where you can make sure that you have the opportunity to learn, to make the PowerPoint presentation, to make the presentation the best you can. The creativity was good, that your actual facts and your references are there. We didn't have Google, we had to read books to make sure that our stuff was right and exact. And we practiced and had forms. So you all are taking it to the next level. So yes, we love what you're doing. We want you to be the best. For contention number 1, it is interesting that contention number 1, the scores that we came up with and the scores that will tally all of our numbers. Contention number 1, it just so happened to be group number 1 is the winner for contention number 1.
Wow, praise be to Allah. Team 1, Aswad, the winners. So what we want to do is we want to hear from the team lead, Brother Shafi Muhammad. Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All praise due to Allah. Yes, ma'am. I just want to first of all thank Allah for bringing all the mothers together and putting the inspiration for the college students around the world and the country to bring us together to talk about these points of contention that are most relevant in our society and especially now in the world that we're living in.
Good job.
And I also want to thank,
good job.
Yes. And I also want to thank my team members for showing up to the meetings and practicing with us. I couldn't do it without them and with the help of Allah. Yes, ma'am.
Praise be to Allah. Awesome, awesome. So now we're going to move on to POC number 2, point of contention number 2.
Yes, and we will have Brother Willie will announce the winner for point of contention number.
I really am honored to have had the opportunity to participate in this. And as an educator who deals with high school students, to me, this is a breath of fresh air. And and honestly, I just put down in my notes, if I had students like you all, I would be running to work every day. And if I had students like you all, I wouldn't be looking for an exit out of the educational system. You know, like
that is so true.
Our children are being brought up. Like if I give my daughter a book to read, she will read it. But I have to come up with all types of tricks and whistles and entertainment to make our children read. And you're not going to be a scholar if that always has to happen. Sometimes you got to go into the classroom and you just need to learn this material, right?
Right.
I often tell my students that a student doesn't mean just because you come to the building with a book bag and a uniform on. A student is a mindset. So if I had you all, you all as students, it will bring out of me the best in me. So kudos to each and every one of you all. So I really appreciate that. In the mere fact from the presentations, it tells that you all know the content. You all definitely know the content. And another thing that that really impressed me about each of your presentations is your ability to state your actual facts and then back it up with a reference. And all throughout high school, that's one of the things that on these end of course EOC tests, that's one of the things now that most high school students are having trouble with, stating a claim and being able to support your claim with evidence. And you all actually did that. Some general feedback, I would say, I want you all to be careful about when you're doing presentations where you just get in the habit of reading something verbatim. Because like Sister Ava can read her notes verbatim, but sometimes you don't even know that she's reading her notes. And when you constantly just reading something verbatim, it takes away from the spirit of the presentation and it just feels like somebody is reading something. So balance that out, right? And the second thing I also want you all to practice on, balance out the use of the new technology and the human involvement, right? Like sometimes just people seeing you illustrate your point and make your point can have a great impact. So balance that out. So when we did that, when our teammates and I got together and added up all of the points for the POC number 2, the winner is Team Crimson.
Congratulations, Team 3, Crimson. All praises due to Allah. Good job. At this time, we'd like to bring on the team lead, Brother Khalid.
All praise due to Allah. Start off like that. Really want to thank my teammates. I want to thank the man for college separation. I appreciate my teammates for coming to the meetings, orchestrating the meetings weeks before, always being prepared ahead of time. And yeah, thank you. Can't thank nobody else. Allah. Yes, ma'am.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Thank you so much. Thank you, judges. Thank you, teams. This has been a beautiful experience. You all, we're going to take in all that Brother Willie shared with us and keep building so that the next time we do this and this competition is expanded further and further, you are ready to represent so easily that as Minister Farrakhan has asked us to put things to memory, which means it is in our hearts, oh, we're going to be flowing like there's fresh water on the planet. Praise be to Allah. Thank you so much.